Hey Minecrafters, Nick here with another Minecraft tutorial. This one is going to be about the Shulk-a-brewer 2.0, which is an update to my parallel potion brewer for Minecraft 1.12 and above. The reason why I came up with this idea is because I needed to make instant damage 2 potions fairly quickly so I could use them at a prismarine farm. And I don't want to waste a lot of time to get started here because I want this to be a shorter video, so I'm just going to get right to it. What we need to do is we need to get some droppers. We need 6 droppers facing upwards, and once you've got those down, you want to place some hoppers pointing into the side of each one of these droppers. And once you've got that down, you can grab some brewing stands, and starting at the second one, you want to put down your 5 brewing stands, and that's where everything's going to happen. And each one of these brewing stands needs to be connected with another hopper so that the potions can flow from the beginning to the end and the entire brew will be done. And instead of using a hopper and a chest here, I've decided to go with a dropper. And I think that that's a nice little improvement because it lets you change the ingredients that you're using in case you want to reconfigure this. If you just don't use it for only one kind of potion, you can modify the ingredients a little bit more easily with this one than you could with the last one. So that's the beginning of it here. I like to put either glowstone or sea lanterns in between each of these just to keep things light, make things bright, and that's a good start there. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to come over here to the side and break out a little bit of space so that we can lay down some redstone, because this uses redstone. That's the only way you can get things to be done automatically in Minecraft, is if you get some redstone going on. Now I know redstone is confusing for some people, and not a lot of people, well, not everybody likes redstone. Some people like it a lot. I think it's a lot of fun. The most fun for me is looking at other people's designs and sort of trying to modify them or understand them, and make things on my own, because it's fun. I like the redstone. So this is a brewing setup that I came up with a while back. The initial tutorial, which is up on the page, it's okay. I don't mind it at all, but it could be a little quicker, and it has a little bit of functionality that wasn't provided that I'm going to provide in this one, just to make it easier to use and easier to reconfigure the potions that you brew with it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to lay down those bricks behind each one of the droppers, and I'm going to put a redstone torch on each one, then put a brick behind each one of the droppers here, and that's how they get activated. And to make that go along, what we need to do is we need to use some redstone repeaters so that when you send a signal on one side, it'll travel all the way down the line and activate each one of these redstone torches. Now here, what we want to do is put a couple of bricks like that. We'll put one here, and that makes these redstone torches turn off, so that when a signal comes into this brick, they will turn on. And we need to have one of those there, put a brick on top of that, and redstone there. Then to finish this off, we just need to make it so that we can activate the hoppers, or activate or deactivate the hoppers when we want them to go. And we'll do that just by putting a redstone repeater behind each one. You don't need one on this very first hopper because that's just for water, and you always want that to flow through. And then to connect all of those, you just have to put another brick behind them. And we'll do it just like we did down below, with another set of repeaters going all the way along. And as you can see, this is locking up every single one of those hoppers. And to continue this on here, the initial one that I did was using an observer and a burnout clock. And it turns out I was overcomplicating it. You don't need the observer, and it might in fact help with people that are on console, because I know that the observers work a little bit differently on console. So here, if you put a redstone repeater in and set it to 3 ticks, that should do the trick for you. I hope that works on consoles. I can't guarantee it, but I hope that it does, because I don't have Minecraft on a console. This is just the Java edition. And what we want to do is we want to put a repeater in here. You can set that to a couple of ticks. It doesn't really matter, at least I don't think it's terribly important, but I usually have this a few ticks short, or a few ticks of delay. And now you can see, if you put down a redstone torch, these hoppers are locked, and if you put down a redstone torch, they become unlocked, and these torches are off. But as soon as you break that redstone torch back there, you're going to get 3 quick pulses, and that's how we get the 3 potions out. And I think that's it's a sneaky little way. It just uses a burnout clock. It should work well. The next part we want to do here is we need to connect these droppers, which are going to drop our ingredients into the brewing stands. And for us to do that, I'm just going to put a line of bricks behind here. Oop, not quite close enough. Just put those there, and we can take that signal and we can put it over into here. Just need a brick behind each one of these droppers again. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to connect those all with some redstone repeaters. I'll put a repeater there. It's not strictly necessary, and we're going to have to reverse the signal of that. So now what we have is we have a machine that will request ingredients and push along water bottles as the machine runs. The only thing you need now is some kind of a timer to make it so that this will repeatedly get asked for. And this will be much like the original Shulk-a-brewer. What we want to do is just grab some redstone lamps here. We'll put down 2 of those. Put some things up here, get a switch for on-off functionality. And we'll come back over here. I'm going to need that back right away. And we'll put one of those there. And since the shulker box is right behind this brick here, what we can do is we can... I'm just misclicking everywhere. Sorry, guys. What we're going to do is we're going to put down redstone comparator there, and a repeater in, a couple of redstone dust there and there. And to make sure that that works properly, we just need to have an entire redstone block right there. The next part that we want to do is we want to bring this along. Now, at this point here, we need to have a half slab. And the half slab is important here because the redstone signals will not travel down, but they will travel up. So we don't want the on-off functionality to light the shulker box full light. So what we'll do is we'll just put these here, and we'll come down a little bit to there. And this is where we're going to have our timer start off, right about here. We can do that. Then we'll have a couple of bricks there, put some redstone dust, and there we go. That's the beginning of it. So the rest of the timer just needs to be built now. And it's not a terribly tough timer to make. It's a little bit different than the typical etho timer because this one's silent, and I didn't want to have pistons banging along and making noises when this was running, so I decided to do it this way. Now you need to have a couple of hoppers facing into each other. Make sure you break them in so that they're facing into each other just like that. You need to have a redstone comparator here and another redstone comparator right here. I'm going to put down a brick so that we always have things laid out on nice bricks that we know that way at least where the redstone is. And here we need to draw a little line of bricks. We're going to have one more repeater here. We're going to have 2 more redstone there, and we'll put a redstone torch in the back of that. And then for this particular timer, we just want to put 32 items in it. That's the perfect number for this particular design. The next part we want to do here, that was a mistake. I did not want to break that brick. We'll grab this. We want 6 bricks out here, and we're going to draw some redstone from here. Oh, we're missing a redstone torch in the back of that. Sorry about that, guys. And that's just making everything go absolutely bonkers. And I'm not sure why we're going bonkers here, but we can fix it. I'm sure we can fix it. Why can we not fix it? Oh, okay, yeah, there we go. Once you've got the redstone down on those 2, that'll stop the timer from going nuts. And here we want to have a little signal extender, which is what we're going to use for making sure that the hoppers stay open long enough for water bottles to come out. You need all 3 water bottles to come out. I'm going to put those there. I'm going to put one more redstone repeater here. And that is pretty much the guts of the whole thing. The rest of it is just a little bit of functionality for making sure that if this thing runs out of water bottles, it's not going to keep on running. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a chest here, put a chest here behind it, and I'm going to break out that brick. I'm going to put another hopper facing into that chest and another couple of chests here and here. And don't be afraid to cover these guys up if you don't want things to be seen through from the front. Now here I want to put another redstone comparator just to see whether there's water bottles in the system. And at this point I'm going to lay down some half slabs. And the reason why I'm going to use half slabs is because I like to put a bone block in right here. I like to put down a bone block. I don't know that I read a bone block. No, I didn't. Bone blocks are the new sort of xylophone sound in Minecraft, and I think that that's very reminiscent of a water bottle dropping and going plunk. So that sounds like a water bottle landing, doesn't it? Now what we can do is we can put 4 pieces of redstone along here, and we can put a brick here, another redstone torch on top of it, and then over here we would want to do what? We would want to have some bricks here. I want to get one more indicator lamp to say that we need to fill it with water. I'll put that there. And right behind here we can put a couple of bricks and a brick here and a brick there. And I'm going to use a half slab here. Not that you need a half slab there, but I'm putting one there just for the heck of it. And if we do that, now you can see that there is no water in the system, so the light comes on. And what I'm going to do now is make sure that if there is no water in the system, it's going to turn off the machine. And to do that, we just need to extend a couple of bricks out here. And I'll just use half slabs. I like half slabs for just carrying signals because it lets you know that there's, that they're just there for carrying a redstone signal. Now you can see that there's no water bottles. This will come along, but it's not going to reach all the way to the end, or actually it does. Maybe I don't need a redstone repeater here, but I put in a repeater here just to make sure that signal doesn't come back. Although it looks like it'll work without one. Now here, what I want to do is I want to get a glass pane, and I use a glass pane here just to allow me. It's so hard to aim right at the top one of those. Just do that. There we go. That will let you take a water bottle or a water bucket, and you can use that to put right behind here if you push the shift key. That will let you just keep your water there, and you can fill up water bottles. Now, just for the sake of making things look a little nicer, I'm just going to load across the top a bunch of half slabs because I think they look nice in this sort of configuration. I'm just moving along here, putting up some half slabs. We're also almost all done, and that's pretty much the machine completed and finished. Now, I should mention that the idea here is to have your floor at this level. I build this machine with opposite of 1. Just because it's a little easier to lay out. I don't have as many things to sort of break out. It's just for the ease of building it. There's no reason to do it any other way. So if you have your floor at this level, everything looks nice from the front. It's only too high, and it works well. It works quickly. You can see the machine's turned off now, but if you turn on the machine, it would start running and start doing its thing. And I think everything's ready to go. So to load this up, the first thing we want to do is we want to get some blaze powder. Which I don't have. Let's get some blaze powder going here. And each one of these hoppers that's pointing into one of the brewing stands, you just want to fill those up all the way with blaze powder. And that'll give you enough blaze powder so that you can run this machine for a long time before you have to worry about putting in more blaze powder. And just go across and do that. I guess we should also have, let me see. I should have a shulker box that's empty. Is that an empty shulker box? I think it is. There we go. So we put a shulker box there, and whenever you want to take away your shulker box, you can just break it, grab it, and put another one in. Now over here, we're going to need to get some of the water bottles going, so I'm just going to take these, and the machine is currently off. So the way that you can do this is just load your water bottles into the top chest that we have there. So there's 2, I've got a button on the side of my mouse, which sometimes I click and that just blanks everything out. So we're going to load up both of these chests with water bottles. I'll just help it out here by doing this a little bit. So there we go. We got a fair amount of water bottles in there. That should do the trick for now. Now to get this thing going, what we want to do is just put in our first ingredient. You can load them all up in here, and you're always going to need to have nether wart. You're always going to need to have a main ingredient, but these last three, depending on how you look at it, they're optional. If you're only making instant damage 2 potions, you don't need to do this little bit here. But if you're planning on using this brewer to reconfigure potions, I would suggest having 3 switches up there, just so you can turn off any of these guys that aren't being used, and that way it'll prevent these droppers from going click, 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 which is never any fun. You don't want to have that happen. So if I turn this thing on right now, what should happen is we should have the first 3 water bottles plunked into our machine here, and we're going to have 1 ingredient drop down. I'll quickly run over here and turn off the machine while we load up ingredients. And I'm doing this just so that we don't get extra ingredients in each one of the brewing stands. So the second ingredient is spider eye. You can just load that up here. And as soon as this brew is finished, right there, we got that brew finished. We'll just turn on the machine for a second, let the water bottles and the awkward potions flow through to the next stage. Once they're there, you can turn it off, come over to the third ingredient, which in our case will be gunpowder. We can put that in there. And once this thing brews, just give it a couple of seconds for that brew to complete. And you see these awkward potions will be turned into poison potions. And then we can flick it on. Those poison potions will move over to the next place where it'll drop down 1 gunpowder and start turning them into the splash potions of poison. I'll turn it off again. I'll load up the next ingredient, which is our glowstone, and that'll make it a poison 2, splash potion of poison 2. And as soon as that brew is done, I will flick on the machine again. We'll do that. The next set of potions will come over. We'll get 1 ingredient drop down. Our potions move over. Then we can load up our last ingredient here, which is the fermented spider eye, and that'll turn it from a splash potion of poison 2 into a splash potion of instant damage 2, which is what we want, because we want to be able to kill those mobs, kill those guardians at the prismarine farm by throwing these potions at them. So now that's done, you can flick on the machine. Again, it's just going to drop 1 ingredient here, and if you only had a 4-part potion, just don't fill this up with ingredients, flick this switch, and the machine will still work. It'll still fill up the shulker box with potions as it goes. And that's it. That's really the whole thing. Believe it or not, we've already built a fully automatic parallel potion brewer that's working just fine. And as you can see, plunk, plunk, plunk. We got our first 3 potions out. They move along, and you'll probably hear that there's really not much noise that this machine makes while it's running. If you're standing at one end close to where the burnout clock is, you might hear the burnout clock a little bit, but you might not, if you're far enough away. And let me think, if I just grab some of these bottles here, we could go into creative, and the way that you would fill these things up, you just stand here, kind of point at either side. Just do that to load up your bottles, and then you can throw them in there. We're still in creative. Okay, well, I meant to be in survival there, but being in creative's fine. So you just load up your water bottles just like that. If you're in creative, you can just duplicate them. That's fine. And we're not going to run out of the water bottles anytime soon. And as you can see, we've got a whole 9 potions done already. It's a fairly fast brewer. It's a little bit quicker than the last one, mainly because of the change in the sort of the timer, and also the way that the sort of signal extender was done. It's just a little bit quicker. It makes things a little bit quicker. The last one, I used some little tricks here. It kept the redstone a little simpler, but it's a little slower. So this is about as fast as you can get, I think, for a multi-part potion brewer. And as you can see, it's just going to keep on going along until we fill this up. And just to speed it up here, I'm gonna do this and just leave that last one ready. So there you go. Once it delivers the last 3 potions in there, this light comes on to tell you that it's full. Then you can break your shulker box. You can put it out somewhere, and as you can see, you've got an entire set of potions. So that's it, guys. That's the Shulk-a-brewer 2.0. I think it's a nice little potion maker. It's easy to reconfigure because you don't have to look for extra potion ingredients down here. You only have to replace what's up here, flip on the switches that you need for the ingredients that you have, and turn the machine on. That's it. Just make sure that when you're using this, make sure that you don't have anything in your shulker box, because if you have 1-2 potions in there, you're going to end up with one of the potions being left in this this dropper down here, which is probably not what you want. But it's easy enough to clean up if that does happen. So this one's it's a little bit smaller, it's a little bit quicker, it's got some functionality so that it will turn off if you run out of water, and I think it's a pretty nice potion brewer that doesn't take long to build. So hopefully this will work on consoles. I know it works in the Java edition of Minecraft, and I hope that you guys can use it in your world. Don't be afraid to play around with changing things. That's the fun of Redstone, you know, looking at somebody else's design and seeing whether you can modify it for your own world, and, you know, just learn and have fun. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy the Shulk-a-brewer 2.0 for Minecraft 1.12, and this is Nick signing off. We'll see you again in the next one.